Hey everybody, welcome back. Another episode Up North Journal, Sunday night in the cabin.
On a roasty July night.
It's not as bad as it was this week, my gosh. The last 2 days have been like fire on a stick, man.
Right?
It's been horrible.
All right.
So hopefully everybody's doing well tonight. We got a guest in the house ready to go. So as soon as
We'll
get our shares out of the way.
Yep.
We'll get going. Hopefully everybody's had a good week. Done some fishing, done some archery shooting, doing something in the outdoors, hopefully. How about you, Dan? Good week?
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. I'm done. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Danny takes a few minutes. He's got the hard job tonight.
Yeah, I got the hard job.
So we'll see what's going on, see when people start piling in here. We'll get on with tonight's show.
It would be nice if somebody would do this for us.
Right? We just need a production assistant. That's what we need.
Yeah.
I have to check with our local schools. Hey, Michael Ryder, what's going on? Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and publish the poll. Question of the night. Do you take extra time to season your wild game meats? Yes, no, or sometimes? Kind of give you an idea of where we're going tonight with tonight's discussion. Hey, Ken Cicluna, what's going on? The Mad Fisherman. Hey, actually, this is going to be up your alley. We got some stuff here that you'll be interested in as well, being a fisherman.
Right.
This is just not... Tonight we're not just talking about wild game meat, like deer and all that kind of good stuff.
No, we're talking about everything.
So...
2 more to go.
All right. Come on, Danny.
I know, right?
I'll tell you what. While you're finishing that up, I'm gonna go ahead and start, and we'll get our little bit of sponsorship stuff out of the way here.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Stand by, and in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal. Everybody, host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFall, who's busy typing away, getting his shares in. But while he's doing that, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Hunter's Blend Coffee, the official coffee of Up North Journal. And as always, we always talk about the UNJ promo code, which you can see right down here below me. If you type that in, go to huntersblendcoffee.com, and you place your order, you use that promo code, and it'll save you 10% on your order. So make sure you get over to huntersblendcoffee.com, get you some good stuff. That's what we're drinking tonight, and it'll do you right.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
all right. I'm ready.
So what's the good word? You done typing over there feverishly?
I am done typing, yes, feverishly.
All right. So,
yeah, no, man, talk about some hot weather.
yeah?
A little bit of storms around the area.
Yep, a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Thunder, lightning, the whole 9 yards. Hot weather.
Glad I cut the grass early, like Wednesday.
Wish I did. Didn't happen. So, what's going on, Danny?
But, you know, with this weather, you're able to cook out.
Grill out. I've been doing a lot of grilling out this year.
Grilled out the last 2 days, and you posted some pictures of it. And
Yep.
we had some on the grill yesterday and the day before. But, you know what? Isn't it always good to add to the flavor of whatever you're cooking?
Absolutely.
That's why I kind of work with this guy.
Uh-huh.
And found out that him and a few of his buddies have a seasoning, Rebel 6.
All right.
And we're going to have him on the show.
Hey, what's going on tonight?
Rob Harrell, what's happening?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate the time.
Hey, not a problem. Before we get started with this, Dan said he was going to bring samples over tonight, and I really expected him to cook a little something with these seasonings. Danny did not bring samples for me to eat, but he did bring samples, though. I just misunderstood.
That's all right. That's all right. We didn't expect much out of Danny, though, did we?
No. I mean, yeah, Rob works with you. I can tell now. You guys work close.
See? Tell ya.
That's good.
He'll pay for that in some way, shape, or form. But anyways, yeah. Hey, Rob, welcome to the show. We've talked before. Obviously, at work, and well, I tried to talk you at the ATA show, but somebody wasn't there at the ATA show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was my son's first hockey tournament ever, so couldn't miss that. So I had to pass the ATA duties off to my partners there, so couldn't meet up with you guys this year.
Right, exactly. But we got hooked up. I got you some samples, so Mike, you'll be happy. But Rob, how did you get into seasonings for meats, fish, and whatever game possible?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. I've always been one who loves wild game meat, whether it be deer, wild turkey, pheasant, fish. So anything I could do to try to switch up a meal, try different recipes, was always something I was into. One day, me and a buddy of mine were approached by somebody that he went to high school with, and they said, hey, we want to partner with Rebel 6, which was our sort of outdoor group at the time. We were into filming hunts and, kind of sharing our passion with the outdoors, with the community. And they wanted to do a private label Rebel 6 line of wild games and seasonings. We were all about it. We jumped on it as soon as we heard about it. And the first year, it was basically our name on their product. Well, as we started getting going, we're like, hey, this is pretty cool. We can really do something here. So we started getting into it more, started developing our own recipes and playing with it a little bit more, started doing some more sales, reaching out to different contacts. And after about, 10 to 12 months, we decided, hey, let's go full bore into this and do this ourselves versus a private label firm. So we went all in. We came up with a few recipes on our own. We, tweaked a couple things that we had prior. And right now we've got 9 different flavors right now of wild game seasonings and rubs that go on fish, that go on wild bird, deer, elk, you name it. So we're all in right now. It's been a blast.
All right, so let's start right there. Getting these seasonings together. So, did you gather around all the seasonings in the kitchen and bring them all together and just start mixing and matching and trying to figure out what was going to be good on this and that?
Yeah, it's kind of a trial and error process. One thing that we really try not to do is overpower the meat. There's different seasonings out there that you can put on that's really going to take the flavor away from the wild game meat, and all you're tasting is a seasoning, and that's not something we wanted to do. So all we want to do is enhance the meat. We came out with a different flavor, sort of geared toward each species of wild game, and it's really worked well for us. But what we found is that we've started, like I said, trial and error process. We're starting to put some stuff on vegetables, on potatoes, even on our eggs in the morning, on our omelets. So it's sort of become a who's who of what can we come up with next, and it's been an adventure. But we've got a little bit of everything.
So okay, starting with the we'll start at the one end of the spectrum, the fish ones.
Yep.
Go catch some fish and start trying, huh? Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, basically we've got a Great Lakes fish rub, which is geared obviously to the Michiganders around here that fish all the stuff in the Great Lakes. Really great on walleye, perch. Those are sort of the big ones that we try to gear this one towards. It's got a little bit of a citrus hint to it, some sugar that really makes the fish come out. And the other fish one that we had to start with was a Midwest fish. This one is a little bit more paprika, sort of a spicier, less citrusy type feel. So you got kind of 2 different options for fish. And then this year we came out with what we call our coastal rub. This one right here is a rub that's got sort of like a blackened type hint to it at the end, but starts off with a citrusy, fruitful type feel. And I've got family in Florida, so they were asking for something specific to some of the saltwater fish that they're accustomed to. So I came out with the coastal fish this year. It's brand new for 2019.
All right, cool. So Mike's got the Great Lakes one in hand, and he's going to try it right here.
This is for,
Perfect.
It says walleye and, what's the other? Oh, walleye and perch blend. Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to try that right here, and then he's going to try the Midwest.
Give that a shot, Mike. I know you guys are both fishermen, so.
I won't stick my my finger down in the bag. I'll sprinkle it here on my hand. Here you go, Daniel. I'll hand you that.
It would have been better with some fresh walleye, though.
Absolutely.
Well, I was hoping you'd show up with fresh walleye.
Man, that's good. You know who we can talk to? Ken Cicluna. He could get us some fish.
Well, that's right.
That's good stuff right there.
I like that one. Great Lakes.
Yep, that is good.
I like that.
Okay, now this is the Midwest large and smallmouth. Okay, large and smallmouth bass. People, I've always talked to people and they say, it's not that good to eat. I've heard other people say, well, if you prepare it right, putting this stuff with it. Talk a little bit about that. What's with the large and smallmouth bass? Why people don't typically eat it, and what will this do for it?
I think it's a misconception, really. And honestly, with any wild game, it's all how you prepare it. If you take the time, don't overcook it. Don't make it so it's rubbery and doesn't, taste fresh. Then all this is going to do is give it a little flavor, add a little bit of butter, throw it on the grill. It's really easy to use, and you don't need much. Just sprinkle a little bit on, and it's going to give it a little bit of a pop. And people aren't going to know it's bass when you taste it. They're going to, think it's some other fish that they're not typically used to eating.
Okay.
So you could probably tell the difference between the Great Lakes and the Midwest as you try that new one.
Okay, well, here it is. Almost
He's going to try it. And that's kind of funny the way you said that. Ken Sakuna on our team was bass fishing, and he had a couple bass, and somebody actually on the post said, "I'd rather eat a sucker than a bass." But how's the Midwest taste?
That's got a different flavor to it. I mean, that's really good.
Yep, completely different, right? We got a little bit of everything, and they're all different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, that's the difference. It's not just it tastes the same. It's a total like a 180 on the rubs.
Right.
And how did you come up with? Now those are for this largemouth, smallmouth, walleye, perch. Now, did you have to send it down to your relatives down in Florida to help you out with the
coastal stuff?
Coastal stuff?
Oh yeah. So that coastal one, I sent them down some samples of the Great Lakes in the Midwest, and they're like, "What are we supposed to do with this? This isn't saltwater fish." And I'm like, "Well, you can put it on the saltwater fish. Just try it out." Like, no. We want something for the specific saltwater fish. So that's when we came out with the coastal. I knew some of the flavors that they were using, obviously with the groupers and the snapper and all that they're eating mostly down there. So I wanted to give it a little bit of a bite to it. So there's a little bit more pepper, like I said, at the end of it, but it's got a very citrusy. There's some orange zest, some lemon zest in the beginning, and then it ends with a little blackened, peppery type feel at the end. Mm-hmm. So it's gotten tons of compliments. They've been sharing it with their friends, and I'm hopefully gonna be filming some more this year down to Florida and the Gulf Coast there that my family's on.
There you go. Get your family to do a little sales for you.
Well, I got a question. I got a question for you here on the fish. I mean, typically when we're talking game meat, red meat, or even birds, you do a dry rub, and this is a powder. With fish, is this something? I mean, do you put it on the grill and start it and sprinkle it on top, flip it, or do you do a pan sear, or can you put this in with like a breading mix and deep fry it?
We've done all those three options. So we have taken some catfish, and we've done some like deep fried catfish nuggets, mixed it in the batter with that Midwest, and it turned out great. We've also done the pan seared one where you put a little butter in a pan, throw the fillets in there, and just dust a little bit on, and then the grilled version too. We throw some fillets on the foil, throw some seasoning on there, just dab a little bit on there. And the great thing about it doesn't burn off. Mm-hmm. So some of the other seasonings you'll see if you sprinkle on, it's falling off the grill or it's burning off. But if you take this on and you just rub it in a little bit with your fingers, mm-hmm. it's going to get into the actual fillet itself, and it's not going to fall off or burn off. Okay. You can really taste that flavor as it absorbs into the meat while it's cooking.
Okay, and along since we're talking about fish, a lot of people here, especially in Michigan, but also in the Midwest and towards the West, do some trout fishing. And then we've got the big lake trout, and we've got salmon as well. Do you have anything that would go along and complement that, or are you working on anything?
So yeah, we've thought about that. The trout and the salmon one, we're playing along with some of maybe some pink Himalayan sea salt. So trying to come out with something that's more geared to a river type fish, the salmon and the trout. It's hard to find something that will satisfy everybody, but again, we want to make something different, and all these are mix and match. So sure, you can throw on the Great Lakes fish on a piece of salmon, or some Midwest on some trout. Give it a whirl. Again, we throw it on potatoes and vegetables and all that too. So yeah, trying to make sure that we're we're coming out with something different. I just don't want to come out with something that's just a different version of something we've already got. So
Right.
we're taking our time with it. But yeah, that's definitely one we're looking at for sure.
Talking about cooking fish and using rubs or seasonings with them, what's the number one mistake most people make when they try something like this?
I think really what they try to do is overcook it. Every fish is different, right? People get nervous when they're cooking fish, especially with family members, or if their wife's not really into seafood or something that's fresh out of the lake, and they try to make sure it's well done enough for the family. But really, if you take your time, cook it slow, don't put it on high heat, cook it slow, let it simmer, and you can see the meat morph into something that's raw versus very edible, but yet fresh and still soft and moist enough for you guys to enjoy. But yeah, overcooking, it's definitely the number one thing that I've heard as the biggest faux pas.
Okay, all right.
Cook it, but don't overcook it. And right now we're just talking about the fish side of it.
That's only 3 of them.
I know, that's only 3. We're talking about the fish side. The next segment we'll probably get into the other ones. But Rob, where can people go to find Rebel 6 seasoning?
So we are mostly online right now. E-commerce for us has been great. Our website is www.rebel6rubs.com. You can order right from the website. And we do have a special promo code for you guys and your guests. If you put in North Journal in the coupon code section, you will get 20% off your order. So something special for you guys and all of your viewers to enjoy some Rebel 6 seasonings. And check out the website, rebel6rubs.com. We will ship it right to your house, and it usually takes about 2-3 days to get it out to you.
That's awesome.
Guys, gals, I wasn't expecting this. That's cool. You guys are doing something like that for the listeners tonight. That is awesome.
A couple comments on live online right now. Charles Byram says he voted no because we always season everything, so no extra time needed. Tom Gensel says smallmouth out of cold water is fine. Warm water is better to release. And then Billy Hoffman says, I love the Sweet Bear rub. These guys are great. Sweet Bear on eggs is fantastic. And in the next segment, you get to try that.
Okay, all right.
You like you said, Rob, you're putting on everything else, eggs, vegetables.
I'm telling you, it takes every standard meal to a whole new level. So it makes a standard original meal into something new every night.
That is awesome. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and let's take our first break. We're going to step outside, take our first break. When we come back, we'll get into the other game meats and continue the conversation. We'll be right back after this. Okay, guys and gals.
Got any questions for Rob out there in Howell, Michigan?
And Rob, by the way, we are still live.
So yeah,
just want to warn you.
Right?
No problem.
But yeah, no. So yeah, those were awesome. That was good stuff. Are you in your garage?
I'm not. I'm in the basement. It's the only place I can get away from the dogs and the kids and everybody else. So
there you go.
This is my force of solitude here.
Okay, because I was gonna say, man, if you're in the garage, it's gonna be roasty
No, I'd be
toasty
sweating
out
a
there.
lot more than.
Right, exactly.
Okay, here we go. All right, stand by in 3, 2, and 1. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Second segment of the show. We're just talking with Rebel 6 about getting seasonings for your meat, your wild game meats, your fish, your vegetables, your regular dinners, the whole 9 yards.
It seems like anything you can put it on, maybe except cereal.
I don't know. Could you put it on cereal?
Well, you could. I don't know how good it would taste. But we do have a question for you, Rob.
Yeah.
Are you working on, Billy Hoffman asked, do you have any news on a low or no sodium type blend for the guys, for the heart?
Yeah.
You know what, guys? I'll be honest, and thanks for the question, Billy. Yeah, we do multiple at trade shows, multiple at farmers markets, and different local venues. And that's the number one question we get asked is, what's your low sodium option? A lot of the McCormick's and the standard grocery store type blends are so much filled with salt. There's so much sodium in those things that it's really pushing people away. So the number one thing that, like I said, we've been asked is a low sodium blend. We're working on one. We do know that that's something that the market has really demanded, is a low sodium blend. I can tell you that every single one of our rubs is a lower sodium. It's not the lower or no sodium version, but it is very low sodium. We have a high level of different ingredients in here, so it's not just your standard salt with a little bit of pepper and other things mixed in there. It's a high mix of different things. So although it's not high sodium, we are working on a low sodium version that we can share with everybody, because myself included, I think too much salt is definitely bad for us. So when we're using our regular stuff day to day, salt is definitely something people will be more conscious on.
Well, we're not getting any younger, so yes.
Well, no, and that's the biggest thing. Since Danny and I started doing this exercise stuff, I notice when I get anything with high sodium, it's all of a sudden I just retain water big time, and it's like it's instant weight added right onto you. So, great question. I really appreciate
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. And Charles Byram says, awesome deal. He's going to check it out. So, first segment of the show, we talked about fish.
Mm-hmm.
How about we go over to some meat?
I like meat.
And the first one I'm going to bring out for Mike here is the sweet bear rub.
Awesome.
To try.
Sweet bear rub.
So,
all right.
As we go through these that we have to try, is it something that hit you when you're like looking at bear meat and you're like, boy, this would taste good this way? And then
so the reason behind the sweet bear is we wanted something that you could really bring out a sweetness to the bear meat. Typically, bear meat is very dark, very rich. There's a lot of fat content to it, so you try to remove some of that fat content to get out the wild game flavor. When we think bear, what do you think? You think honey, right?
Yeah.
So in that sweet bear mix that you're trying there is a little bit of honey powder. There's a little bit of brown sugar, so it's really going to give a sweetness to it. Not overpowering, but just enough to really lighten up that dark meat that is bear.
I'd like to take a spoon to that right there and just start eating it. That is good.
It's really good stuff.
It does.
I know people that put that on chicken, mix it with some barbecue sauce, and they got a little honey barbecue action going on, so it's great on everything.
That is awesome.
I could see that on chicken.
Absolutely.
That could go really good on chicken, but that's awesome. All right, this one's kind of unique. Wild boar rub.
So we know everybody that cooks out. We're typically cooking ribs, pulled pork, anything that has to do with, the pig, even bacon. That right there is the perfect stuff to mix on something that you're going to put on the grill that will keep it moist, keep it dark. Some smoked paprika, some chili powder. It gives it a little bit of a small bite, but man, is that stuff good. And it gives it a lot of nice color, too.
So you're telling me that we can make bacon better? Is that even possible?
Candied bacon. There's nothing better than candied bacon.
There you go, candied bacon.
Bacon, candy wrap bacon with candy wrap bacon.
There you go.
All right, we're going to try this. I love bacon. Bacon is awesome.
I don't know one person that doesn't like bacon.
You could wrap anything in bacon. You could wrap this table in bacon. It didn't make it taste good.
Right? So
all right, there you go.
He's going to try that and...
Oh yeah, I can see this on. I can see that on bacon. It's got, like you said, it's got just a little bit of zing to it. Oh, that would be awesome. Danny, you're leaving that one here.
I can leave that one. I'll share them with you.
We're cooking bacon this week.
All right. It's got a little bit of zing at the end.
Yeah, just
You
a
like
little.
that?
Oh yeah, that's
Just a
good
little
stuff.
bit.
So what's the other one we got here?
We'll get to that one.
We're gonna save that one.
We'll save that one. But I want him to go in down to. So we had the bear, we had the boar, but you also got one for
Whitetail.
white elk and whitetail, right?
Yeah, so I understand I'm talking to the elk man now. Congrats, Mike, on your draw. That's
Thanks,
huge.
man. Well, we drew a tag, but that doesn't mean that we've got one yet. We still got to get one. But when we get one, then we're going to use the rub on it.
Perfect. Yeah, if you get one, let me know. I'm sending you a bottle, and you can, lace that whole thing with some Rebel 6 elk rub.
There you go. All right.
So how did it come up for I know it's just a natural progression into the meats, but the venison one and the elk one, what's kind of the flavoring you're shooting for on the elk?
So the spicy whitetail is kind of a Tex-Mex theme. If you get a hold of that one, that's got more of a taco, nacho type flavors, kind of a Texas whitetail type theme. And then the elk, is more of your standard red meat. So you can use this on elk, you can use it on venison, you can use it on just your regular steaks or hamburger, and that's really going to moisten up some meat, some of that tougher meat, lean meat, give it some flavor with some sugar in there. It's really got a good blend that it doesn't, again, overpower the meat, but it gives it enough flavor that you can definitely taste the difference when you taste in the elk versus just your standard burger.
There you go. A little bit added to the meat. Tastes wonderful.
Just a little.
Little I don't know if it's good as candy wrap bacon, but
Candy Wrap Bacon, man, that sounds awesome.
I know, doesn't it? That's a good line, buddy.
I'm going to have dreams about that tonight.
Any other down the meat lines? Did we hit them all?
Yeah, so the other one that we came out with in 2019, I mentioned the Coastal that we came out with. The other one that's sort of my pride and joy, Dragon Dust. Dragon Dust is not a jalapeno or habanero type peppery spice. This is more of a spicy stir fry type mix. So you can put this on chicken, put it on vegetables, put it on burgers or anything like that. And it's going to give you a nice slow heat, a slow burn, and it doesn't tingle your lips or make your nose run or anything like that. That, you know, if you go to any old wing joint, you're gonna experience those symptoms. This is really going to give you a nice bite, a smooth bite, but after each bite it goes away. It doesn't linger, it doesn't stick with you. So again, not to overpower the meat, but give it something, give it enough heat that it's really going to impact the flavor profile.
I think that was the one. I think that's the one we. Did you have that? Was that at ATA?
Yeah, we did. We debuted it at ATA. Yep.
Okay, I think we tried that.
Yeah, we tried the
yeah.
potato chip, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It like you said, it didn't make you start crying and your nose didn't start running and your lips were like burning. It was just a nice.
Yeah, after we walked away, it kind of like tapped you on the shoulder and got a hold of you.
Right. Okay, now we want some water. But
Right.
That's awesome, you know, and that's a, you know, so you're looking down the meats line. I think he's pretty much.
We got the wild bird.
Well, we haven't gotten to the birds yet.
Oh, we got wild. Okay, that's the last one you got there.
We're hitting that. Yeah. So as we go, and that actually begs a question here by Tim Cias. What about turkeys? You got something for turkey?
Oh, yeah. So, mild wild bird rub. Let's see if I can find it here. So, I shot a turkey this year. I doused both turkey breasts in this, filleted them, put them in the middle as well, and it came out phenomenal. I also, last year in November, did my entire Thanksgiving turkey with mild wild bird. And we had my neighbors over at the time just visiting, and they had a little bit of our turkey. Their Thanksgiving celebration was a couple days later, and they actually said, forget our recipe, we want this. They did their entire bird with mild wild bird as well once they got a hold of it, because it's phenomenal. It's like nothing you guys have ever tried before. It's got a whole different flavor profile than you would expect of something with bird. There's a holiday Christmassy feel when you try this.
Well, Mike's going to try it right now, and we're going to see if he gets into the holiday Christmas spirit and start saying Christmas.
Let me know what you feel there, Mike.
I can smell exactly what you're talking about. It's kind of got that holiday Christmas type smell to it. Now let's see what it tastes like.
Yeah.
All right. There you go, Danny. Hang on to that. Yeah. I can't describe it, but yeah, there's something there it reminds you of Christmas.
Yep.
Gives you a little warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
Yeah.
A little bit of the secret ingredient there, I'll let you guys know, is a little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah.
And that little cinnamon just sets it off.
That is good. That is awesome. That's another one I can take a spoon to and just sit and eat it.
There you go. See? It's got that little bit of cinnamon, that little waft in there.
Yeah, that is good. That is awesome.
Now, another question coming from Tim. What about putting it on popcorn?
Ah.
Oh, yeah. You can put anything on popcorn. Yeah, any one of these. You know, even if you're looking for some kick, like I said, that Dragon Dust will go good on anything. So if you want to try some Dragon Dust on some popcorn, you might be the first person to do that, Tim. So let us know how it tastes.
there you go.
Tim can be the
he can be your taste tester for
popcorn.
Perfect.
So, just like in the first segment, where can people go to find these?
Yeah, so we are in a few retail stores local. We're in Great Lakes Meats in Howell. We're actually at a place up north called Master Stop and Go up in Saney in the UP.
Oh, wow.
And we're in yep. And then the Pit Stop, a restaurant in Chesterfield, we're also in there as well. So trying to get our feet wet around the local area. We're talking a couple of Ace Hardwares, and we know Michigan has a lot of Ace Hardwares, and Ace Hardware does a great job of promoting Michigan-made products. So talking a few of those locations. So we're growing, but mostly online at our website, www.rebel6rubs.com. Our full lineup is there. And again, North Journal coupon code will get you 20% off.
There you go, guys.
That's awesome.
And thank you for doing that for the listeners. I mean, that's a great savings for anybody that wants to go over there and check it out. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead. We'll take our next break. We come back. We want to pick your brain a little bit and take you down the road and figure out the outdoor side of what you do. So
Sounds great.
We'll venture down that road here as soon as we come back. We're going to step outside real quick. We'll be right back after this.
And for those of you on the live feed, got any questions for Rob? You're right. You can put just about anything on popcorn.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Besides more butter.
Right. Well, you can do that too. It's just not the best for you. That's a
Right.
problem. Speaking of salt, that butter's the next one that'll get you too.
Right.
And unfortunately, they both taste great.
But yeah, no, it's man, those all taste good.
And you can tell, again, they're all different. You know, we're not trying to do a copycat version of previous Rob. They're all brand new, whole different recipe and
Absolutely.
variety.
They are like I said, it per package it's a 180 as you go along the line. It's like, well, this one tastes just like that one, but no, it's
different.
It's way different.
Yeah, it's way different. All right, here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back, third segment of the show. Man, I'm salivating now. I want some meat. I want to use some of the seasoning.
Hey, get out.
Tim Cias from Lem Walker Game Calls. He's wanting to put it on popcorn. That's got me thinking about popcorn now. Bacon.
Right?
God,
Candy bacon.
I'm trying to lose weight, not gain weight.
That's why you only have the seasoning, but you don't have you just eat the seasoning and then pretend.
Oh man.
But Rob is doing the seasoning thing for all the wild game and stuff out there, but he's also done Rebel 6 Outdoors and chasing the outdoor dream that we love. And Rob, how did you get started in hunting, and how far back does it go?
Yeah, it goes back a while. My father, he was an outdoorsman. I wouldn't say an avid outdoorsman, but he worked a lot. So any chance he got to go up north, do some deer hunting, do a little bit of duck hunting, in the early mornings on a weekend or something like that. Those chances didn't come around often. So when he did get a chance, he went. And I remember a couple duck hunts. I went with him. I went up north. We had a lease up in Clare, and I remember sitting with him. And I was just a young boy, and obviously too young to shoot or anything like that, but just sitting with him in the outdoors, crunching on a bag of potato chips. He's probably ready to kill me. I was not being quiet at all. But those are the memories that I remember. And then as I got older, I started, going to different friends' properties. One friend had some property up near Mount Pleasant, about 40 acres, and that's really where it started to take off for me. Getting some private land access and being able to explore and experience, different encounters with different animals, really sort of drew me in. And I didn't get into bow hunting specifically till probably my senior year of high school, freshman year of college. And once you start bow hunting, it's a game changer, right? I'm sure you guys know it's something that is unlike any experience with the rifle when you're sitting in a tree stand trying to figure out and maneuver close to these magnificent creatures. And my passion just grew from there. And the more I hunted, the more I wanted to explore and go to different areas and learn about the animals and habitat and patterns, and just understanding that you'll never know it all. So it's a constant chase. It's a constant journey. And I guess that's why they call it an obsession, right? Because there's never an end to it. It's just a continuous habit that has no end in sight.
Mike and I talked about this in the last couple of weeks. We talked about what drives the hunter.
It's a drive.
It becomes a passion, and like you said, Rob, it's an obsession that it's almost like the kill is only like a minuscule part of the end game, but it's the passion that builds, trying to outsmart the game, trying to whether you're duck hunting, whether you're Ken's trying to hit a big bass in the lake, or we're trying to get a whitetail, whatever. But it just fuels it even more. And thinking about that, before you had kids, what's your pick out your best memory that you can remember that in your mind says that was cool?
It's not even about. I wouldn't even say it's about a particular hunt or particular animal. It's deer camp. Experiencing deer camp with your friends, your family, just that camaraderie, sitting around a fire, the night before opening day. It's all of that, and it's hard to explain to people when they say, well, you went up there, you didn't come back with anything or anything. It's not about the hunt itself or the kill. It's about being with family and friends and just experiencing the outdoors all together and what nature provides us. So that memory right there, my first deer camp with my friend who invited me up to his 40-acre parcel with his family, was something I'll never forget, and something I want to experience every year.
You talk about that. I remember, I don't know what age it was before I was able to hunt, but going up with my dad to quote unquote deer camp. It was public land at that time, but like you said, sitting around the fire. When you go up and it's all the guys, I don't care if you're 5 years old or if you're 50. At that point, it's like you're with the men, and it's no offense to the ladies, no offense at all, but back when we were growing up, that's what it was. Yep. And you felt like, I'm one of the guys. I'm part of the tribe. I'm part of this group of men who are going to go out and do whatever it is that we think we're going to do. It's in sitting around that fire. I mean, how many times have you been to deer camp and you sit around a fire? Nobody says a word. You just sit and you stare into the fire, and in 10, 15 minutes has gone by, and you look up and you see that glow in their face.
Yep. No, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned, just being part of the guys. It's men from all walks of life too, right? You could have a guy in the group who's a CEO of a huge company. You could have a guy who's a garbage man.
Right.
But at one time, you're all hunters, and you're all experiencing that moment together. And there is no status, there is no different level or anything. You are all equals, and you're all in the woods together experiencing Mother Nature. So it's fantastic.
I've never heard that phrase used, but as soon as you started saying it, I knew exactly what you meant, because we've all experienced it.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And that's you talk about deer camp memories. I couldn't hunt, but I remember going to deer camp. There was 15 of us in camp, and actually 2 of them were the oldest daughters of 2 of the hunters. So we had the girls in camp, and it was just that whole 15 people together for that week was just, whether it was at breakfast, whether it was at dinner, whether it was just you all worked together, right?
Well, but that's the one, like you said, the campfire, and then what's the next thing? Danny just mentioned food. It brings people together, and then the hunt. I mean, those 3 things, we all culminate around that to bring all of us together. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it.
Absolutely does, and it's just one of those things. And that, now I asked him purposely that question because now he's has kids, and he's passing on that tradition. How's that changed the dynamic for you for hunting?
It's put everything back into perspective, right? I mean, when you're a young man and you're chasing the biggest antlered buck and trying to get your best score under your belt, trying to travel different states and do all these different hunts, as soon as you have kids who are old enough to understand what you're doing, what the outdoors is, what hunting's all about, it changes everything. I took my son out last year for his first full year of hunting, so deer and turkey, and just sitting out there and putting the eye black on each other, and of course we had to bring his iPad because Kids these days, they get they get easily distracted, and early in the morning they can get pretty tired too. So, but as soon as I said, "Oh look, there's a deer," everything's down, shuts it off. He starts shaking, and it's something you'll never forget as a father. Your first hunt with your son or daughter, and just to see them have the same reaction that you do as a grown man, even though you've been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years. Everybody gets the shakes no matter how old you are when you see a deer. And we were able to take a deer this year, and also a turkey on his first turkey hunt. So we got some meat in the freezer, and he was super proud coming back to the house and showing mom and his sister what he had accomplished.
What did that do for you in that moment when that animal went down? What emotions were you feeling?
I wasn't even looking at the animal. It's amazing. Your attention just watches him and his reaction and his heart. You could see almost beat out of his chest. It didn't matter what that was. It didn't matter if that turkey was a tom. Luckily, it was a two-bearded, nice 9-inch tom. But it could have been a Jake. It could have been, a small buck that we had an encounter with. It didn't matter. It was all about watching him and his reaction with his first encounter with the outdoors, and the power of harvesting an animal ourselves and bringing it back. He's seen me bring animals back before, but when he's done it, that feeling of pride you can see just came over his face. And as a father, that made me proud to be able to pass that on just to him as an early age. And I can tell it's in our blood, right? It's definitely in our blood. He's going to be obsessed just like I am.
I've told the story many times, but my kids, I've been with all of them when they shot their first deer. But when my daughter did it, I got emotional. I mean, I teared up like crazy. I don't know what it is about when you're with the girls, but it puts it in a different perspective. It's the boys become men at that point, but the girls, it's different. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like you said, you're proud of what your kids have accomplished, and you see them take that step into adulthood at that point, knowing that, hey, they provided some meat for the table.
Right.
I mean, it's primal.
It is, and Kelly, my oldest, she was with me when I shot a doe. I was with her when she shot a doe, but then she was alone when she shot her buck, and all with a bow. And I think what you're kind of, and I blubbered like a baby crying out in the field, I'm not going to lie, but it's just that whole, I don't know how to explain it. It's just that whole emotion that she did it, and watching her do it by herself, and I'm going to go on my own, and she did it, and it was really cool. Now, is your daughter into hunting or not there yet?
She is. As soon as I come back with the buck in the bed of the truck, she's hopping on the tailgate, wanting pictures with it, and everything like that. So she's going to be 5 years old in November. I was blessed to have a daughter born on November 17th. So it makes opening weekend a very interesting weekend every year for me. But no, it's great because she is definitely not your average girl. She's a tomboy. She wants to do anything that I'm doing or her brother's doing, and part of that is hunting. So she's itching to get out just like he was.
That's awesome. My cousin, his daughter, born November 15th. So 17th, I can. It's always interesting that first weekend. I called home, or she was actually up a couple times too. But that's awesome. Getting the family out there and getting them into the woods is just, whether they're turkey hunting, deer hunting, and now he's probably using them as test subjects for his seasoning.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I bet you your wife likes that. Here, try this. Here, try that. Here, do this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's got her favorites too, though. Sometimes she gets stuck on a certain one. She's like, all right, I want this tonight. I want that tomorrow. I want it again, 2 nights from now. So trying to keep her, trying to switch it up every now and then is also good too.
Well, speaking of that, who does the cooking at home, you or her, or both?
Both. I will say both. She's got some recipes that she tries, and then usually if it's anything on the grill, I'm usually manning the grill. I got a nice smoker here as well, so anything in the smoker on the grill, we're definitely exploring all these different things on different meats. We just made some hunter sticks out of some grind from last year's deer today, so we got a fresh couple bags in the freezer right now, and kids are probably chomping down on those instead of eating their dinner right now too.
Right, exactly. And speaking of that, you know, the first 2 segments or so, we talked about the seasonings. We talked about passing on. Are you going to be doing any outdoor shows in the upcoming months where anybody in whatever area that you're going to be in can come visit you?
Absolutely. So we are going to do the Woods and Water Outdoor Expo this year for the first time. We are going to be there September 6th through the 8th. The Rebel 6 booth will be a 15 by 15 tent outside, so we are definitely going to have some samples out there cooking. So follow the smell, follow the aroma of the fresh game, and a couple of my partners are over on Lake St. Clair, so they bring in the walleye, and I can tell you, just from the samples that in response that we get out to customers at the show, you will not want to miss these samples that we hand out of fresh walleye with our different seasonings on there. So yeah, come see us at the Woods and Water Expo September 6th through 11th, and stop by for some good samples.
Oh, samples at Woods and Water, and that show is typically a knockout show.
Always,
here.
always is.
You're 3 weeks prior to the October 1st hunting in Michigan, and if you get that hint a little bit of cold, besides hearing the football game playing somewhere in the background,
right?
Everybody's wearing camo, and everybody's they're going to eat that samples up. Tell you that right now.
That's right.
I believe it. We'll have to bring a extra cooler full of samples to make sure everybody doesn't go home hungry.
That's right, and that's awesome. So that's coming up in September. Is there anything else that you're looking towards down for the end of this year? I know we talked about this a couple days ago. This is actually a busy time of year for him. You wouldn't think so, but he kind of made sense of why it is.
Yeah, no, it's that time of year when everybody's sort of going through their freezer and kind of going through the remains of what they shot from last year or any wild game that's left from the previous year, and trying to use that up going into the season, and especially going to deer camp. Trying to make sure you've got all your meals prepared for deer camp, and it's a hot time for us this year. So orders are up. Manufacturing obviously takes some time for us to make sure that we've got every customer satisfied, and going into the season, it's really a hot time. The other hot time is definitely coming out of winter, going into spring. People are firing up their grills and getting outside. So right now and late spring, early summer is our 2 hottest times. So we're busy. We're very busy.
Awesome. And I want to thank you for being on the show. Do you want to stick around for the last segment of the show?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay. So with that, we'll take our break to the last segment of the show, and we'll be right back after this.
All right, everybody on the live stream, if you got questions, get them in.
Get them in. We're in the last segment of the show, and see, I'm reaching down trying these still.
Yeah, just so you know, Rob, he's been, as you've been talking, he's been pilfering the packages here. He's pouring it like candy.
I'm not gonna lie, it can be. And then Tim Cias's comment. I don't know if you caught the comment, but you can use popcorn for dieting.
Yeah,
it's just what you put on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but not the way I eat it. That's the problem.
Right.
Like I said, butter, salt, it's not good for you.
It's funny. I remember when I was a kid, my mom got on that kind of like a health kick thing and bought an air popper.
Oh yeah.
My dad was the typical on the stove.
Yep, I remember that.
Well, she got an air popper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that didn't go over so well.
Yeah.
I was like, ew.
Doesn't taste the same. All right, here we go. Stand by. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. 4th segment of the show. Danny, is there any seasoning left, or are you eating it all?
I tell you, that bear rub's pretty good, man.
Yeah, there's nothing left.
All right, so last segment of the show. That's good. Got Rob Harrell on, Rebel 6 Seasonings. Offering a 20% discount if you go over to the website. When you check out, use the promo code
North Journal.
There you go. North Journal.
North Journal, 20% off.
There you go. I want to keep you on the last segment of the show because I know you live in Michigan, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about Michigan around here, right?
Always do.
So how you feel about the new the regs coming out?
Uh-oh. We're going to go there, huh?
No, see, that's why I used the last segment of the show.
So if you offend somebody, we're at the end.
And we got to keep it.
I was going to say, how much time do we got left here?
We got 15 minutes.
But we can stay on live after we get done with the podcast portion.
Yeah. I've been lucky enough to take the QDMA Deer Steward 1 course. There's so much information through that initiative, and the biggest takeaway that I have from being a QDMA Steward 1 graduate is nobody is going to fully understand the immediate impacts of something that man tries to implement on nature, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's got their theories. We're going to try these new regulations, obviously, to see how this works in Michigan. Wisconsin's doing their thing. Each state is going to try their own experiment, so to speak. But the part that bugs me is when they come out and say, okay, this is what's going to fix this. I don't think anybody knows what's going to fix it. It's up to the hunters to be tolerable on what changes are going to be in place and understand the changes, and just accept the fact that everybody's working towards the same thing. We're all trying to make sure we've got a sustainable deer herd going out to our future generations who hunt with years now, down the road and in the years to come. But yeah, it's interesting when you hear the different opinions from even different biologists and in the different regions. So I don't think there is an answer out there, guys. It's just what Michigan's decided to do here, and we have to adapt and adjust and see how it impacts things. And I think we're all along for the ride here.
Yeah, it's there's no quick fix. I'll completely agree with you on that point. I've taken Deer Steward 1 as well, and I know what you're talking about. It's this is something that's going to impact our hunting probably for the rest of our lives, actually. Yeah. It's been around since CWD 67. TB's been around for quite a while. The only thing that kind of irks me a little bit is it seems like this year we're starting to hodgepodge these little areas, and it's like a little test plot here, a little test plot there, a little test plot there. If we're going to do something, do it across the state, do it for the whole state, and then stick with it and figure out what's working and what's not working, and then make those subtle adjustments. And I think that's where people are getting really ticked off.
Yeah.
You mean like ban baiting, but you can bait on a weekend, but you banned it.
Yeah, that's part of they're talking about the special hunts, with the veterans and I'm trying to remember the name.
The Liberty Hunt.
The Liberty Hunt, and then the disabled hunts as well.
Exactly.
I understand why they're trying to do those things, but if it's bad, it's bad. Let's get rid of it for the whole state, and let's include the UP, not just part of the UP. It's just, but it's a political hotbed. That's the problem, and it's just like it's like any other politics that are out there right now. And I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, middle of the road, far left, far right. It doesn't matter. We all got to live in the same spot together and work together, and that's what we got to do.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Mike. I think having a level playing field is what everybody is sort of asking for, and not having it broken up into different segments or counties, and trying to understand different rules for each, depending on what road you're hunting off of.
Right.
It can get out of hand pretty quick if that's a process going forward.
Danny deals with that literally.
Literally. I am a mile outside of the antlerless permits in the UP. Literally 1 mile to the railroad track, and I'm like, okay. I went to the biologist and I said, okay, I'm gonna play dumb here because I'm up to my ears in does. I'm sorry, I am. And you're telling me this railroad track is where you stop it. How did you pick the railroad track?
Because it's a natural it's a boundary that everybody can recognize.
It's exactly what you said. And I was like, why don't you just make it the whole county? Go by the county.
Yeah. But the guy living across the street from you in the next county, if a road divides it, then he's going to say the same thing.
Right, exactly. So this year, I can't shoot does, even though they're going to open it up for bow season, unless I go a mile south.
You just have to come to my place.
Yeah. So, anyways, so that was my political question. Okay?
Okay.
I had to get that out.
Are you going to play nice now?
Now I'm going to play nice. Because with any guest that we have to ask them a few questions. And the first question is that we typically use and ask is, okay, what's your favorite wildlife meal? What's your favorite recipe that you would say, hey, I'm hungry. This is my go-to recipe. I'm going to have this.
And it's got to have Rebel 6 on it.
No, I'm assuming so now.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, there's nothing that beats venison backstraps. I mean, that's something that usually doesn't even make it home from deer camp once we get a nice healthy kill down. And really the best way that we make it is before the whole Rebel 6 company got started, it was a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic, some salt and pepper, and you can marinate that together. And once you melt that butter down and you slice those back straps into little medallions, you can mix it all together, put it in the freezer, let that butter sort of coagulate around the medallions, take it out, throw it right on the grill, and that stuff will melt in your mouth, I promise you.
I'm ready.
Yeah, right? It's like,
You're making me hungry again.
I know, right? Well, okay, so we'll skip the next question. We'll come back to this next question. But the other question is, you're traveling to your hunting spot or wherever you're going to do a hunt. What's your go-to music, or what do you listen to in the vehicle that you're heading? Maybe wherever you're going to do a hunt or something. What kind of music are you listening to?
So I'm sort of a big podcast guy, as you can imagine, right? I do listen to Wired to Hunt podcast quite a bit. That's something that sort of always gets me amped up for any hunt. But as far as music goes, blasting Ted Nugent's Fred Bear on the way to a hunting property, you can't beat that.
Right on. I like that.
Right? You can't.
So no rock and roll soul then.
A little bit, yeah.
There's that, and then I was up bow hunting one time in Nuevo, and somebody in the morning must have been playing it out their trailer or something, because that's what you could hear echoing through the woods.
Nice.
So that was pretty good. All right, so we now know his music.
Yep.
We know his food.
Yep.
But he's going out to hunt.
Got to have a snack.
He's got to have a snack. So what's your go-to in the backpack snack?
Cliff Bar. All day, Cliff Bar. I don't know what it is about those things. They're small. They're not that big, but they fill me up, and they allow me to stay in the tree stand longer than what I think I would. So, yeah, it's except for that noisy wrapper that they come in. Usually try to take that wrapper off and put it in a little Ziploc bag. But those Cliff Bars, they do me pretty good in the tree stand.
I never thought about that. Unwrap them before you put them in the backpack.
Oh yeah,
put them in
a
a
Ziploc.
I never thought about it. Duh.
Hello.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
There you go. An easy button.
Right on.
Was that all the questions?
Well, he already answered the one about his most memorable hunt.
Yep. We definitely had to touch on that in two steps, because it seems like for everybody you have pre-family and then after family, and,
Right.
and there's just some things that go along with each segment of your life adventure as we go there.
Well,
But,
you talked about your memorable hunt or experience, sitting there around the campfire going to deer camp the first time. Let me throw this at you. What's on your bucket list? I mean, number one thing that you want to go out for? What still you haven't done that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, something out west. Honestly, I have not been out west yet. I've talked to many friends who have been, elk hunting, mule deer hunting out in Wyoming or Montana. Anything out there. It could be an antelope hunt. Anything. I just want to get in the mountains and just experience the ups and downs and see how much the terrain kicks your butt, as well as the animals that you're after too. So elk, mule deer, antelope. Like I said, it's something out west will definitely get my blood going.
Here in the last 5 years, maybe 10 years, it seems like that's kind of where I'm at. I've been to Colorado once, and it kicked my rear end.
Yeah.
We were mule deer hunting, and we did it the easy way, and it still kicked my butt. I wasn't ready for it. But you see people like Danny and I working out now, getting in shape just for hunting here in Michigan. But people, they go to the extreme. I call it extreme hunting, or you're pushing yourself to that limit. It's not so much about taking it is about taking that animal, but it's also putting yourself in an environment that not only challenges you mentally, but challenges you physically, and some maybe even emotionally at times. I mean, it's hard hunting.
No, absolutely. And I've heard the stories from friends about packing out an elk 4 miles from the truck, and just what that does to you. But you're going pure adrenaline at that time, and they look back and I don't know how I did it, but it's amazing that my body was able to be pushed to that point and come out of there successful and healthy. And obviously it takes a lot of training ahead of time to be able to do that, but still being able to push yourself to the limits is something that really gets them excited.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that primal instinct almost.
Oh, yeah.
One thing nice I think about antelope, that's an early season type. That's a September. I think you can start.
so.
Yeah, September. Yep.
You know, so if you want to do an early out west, antelope would be a good one. I think Tim Andrews is getting ready to head out there probably. For
Yes.
the first hunt I've seen him looking at what he's doing. But that's awesome. You got to have those, for everybody it's different. Some people want to go to the Yukon. Some people want to go out west. Some people want to go to New Zealand.
Right.
I think Denny Steiner's in Australia or something.
Yeah.
So
Different country, someplace other than your backyard that you're accustomed to put yourself outside of your comfort zone.
right, exactly.
Pushing those limits. So
And Rob travels a lot more than I do for work, and he's been to a couple various countries, but I don't think they actually hunt in those countries. Am I right?
Yeah. If they do, you got to have some sort of special tag. I know that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't even know what you'd be after over there, to be honest with you.
No, I agree. I've never thought about that until we were just starting to talk about this, and I'm like, and he's been over the ocean and everything, and it's just like, well, what? Wait a minute, what do you hunt there?
right.
But
And what do you use to hunt them with? Because certain countries, don't allow bows. Some countries don't allow firearms. I mean, there's just such a wide range of different dynamics.
I think Africa, you have to have a PA with you.
Yes.
At all times.
Yep.
And then you can use whether it's a gun, bow, or crossbow, but they have limitations as to what you're after.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, I tell you what, we're bumping up against it here for the end of the show. We can continue the conversation on the live stream here for just a little bit, but let's go ahead and wrap up the podcast portion. Rob, before we let you go, once again, give everybody the website where they can find Rebel 6 Seasonings at.
Yep, Rebel 6 Rubs and Seasonings can be found at www.rebel6rubs.com. It's REBELSIXRUBS.com. So all letters, no numbers. And again, use the promo code North Journal for 20% off. And again, guys, thanks for having me on. It's been a blast. And again, Mike, let me know as soon as you get that elk down. I'll send you some nice elk rub.
I'll hold you to that, man, and I'll slide you a few steaks that way as well. For
now we're talking.
We'll throw them on the grill and try them together. How about that?
That sounds great.
All right. Well, I tell you, anything else, Danny?
No, really.
Would you quit eating all the rub? Jeez, Pete.
Mild wild bird rub. Good stuff.
All right. Well, for those of you on the podcast, we appreciate you tuning in this week. Don't forget to go over Rebel 6's website if you'd like to get some of their product and use the promo code North Journal, and you will save 20% on your orders.
And we'll put a link up on Facebook, and I'll make sure to put a link up with their logo on our webpage.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us this week, folks. Y'all take care. We'll see you again next week. And for anybody on the live stream, you got just a few minutes here. If you got
minutes. It's Sunday night. This poor gentleman has got to get up early so he can get to work tomorrow.
Yeah, you would know because you got to get to work tomorrow too.
Don't remind me. Yeah.
Right? I get there earlier than he does, though, I think.
He does. And you got a farther drive than I do too.
Yeah, well, it's pretty. Yeah, I'm up in Fenton.
Yeah.
You're in Howell.
So not too far. Yeah, I'm 50 miles on the dot, I think.
You know what? I might be 60.
Okay.
It depends on how I-75 treats you.
But the way Danny drives, he drives it like it's 45 miles.
You're right. At that time in the morning, you better believe it. Get out of my way. But if anybody's got any questions, Willie Reed says, "Love me some 6." All right.
Good deal.
But hey, thanks for coming on and meeting me this week and getting on the show, and it's good to have you, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It was a little short notice, and we appreciate you making the effort.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime. I mean, again, appreciate you guys having me on and talking about the product, and hopefully you liked it. And let us know if you come up with some good recipes or tried on different things, and you like it. We always like to share the different recipes with our different people on Facebook and everything else. So.
We'll do. Definitely will do. And like Danny said, we'll put a link up. That way people can find it off our page and go to your page and do all that good stuff. And you know what? And Danny, I think we ought to just pay him a visit over at Woods and Water too. Stop over.
If we're don't worry.
If we're not busy.
Yeah.
You better.
Yeah, we'll make sure we'll make it over there. And then you know what? Yeah, thanks a lot, man. This is awesome. Good stuff, and we'll be in touch.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
All right, that'll do it for us this week, folks. We'll go ahead and let you go. You take care, and we'll talk to you here real soon, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty.
All right. Give us a second, Rob.
All right, guys and gals, there's our UNJ promo code. Don't forget that as well. Go over to Hunter's Blend Coffee, and you can save 10% over there. So it's a show of deals tonight.
It is.
Gotta like that. That'll do it for us this week, folks. We'll be back again next week. Y'all take care now.